So today's class we're going to do quite a strong flow with a lot of core strength, upper body strength and a lot of leg strength work thrown in. So get yourselves ready, come to lie down on your mats to begin with, and we'll just take a few moments to just arrive on our mats and to connect to the breath. So closing the eyes down or fixing the gaze on one point. Inhaling through the nose. Sending the breath deep into the diaphragm. Feeling the belly rise. And exhaling, fully releasing. And just taking a moment to check in with how you feel this morning. How does the body feel? How does the mind feel? And how does the breath feel? And then begin to start to smooth out the breath. Long, slow, deep inhalation. The breath branching out into the lower lobes of the lungs, circulating through the body. And then exhaling, fully releasing. But with each exhalation, just feel the mind begin to settle, the body begin to settle as you arrive on your mat. And if you have an intention for today's class, what is your reason for coming onto your mat this morning? Is there something that you want to come to pass in your life in the next 3, 6 months, or a year? I invite you to set that intention now. I want you to visualize that intention in your mind's eye. Make it bigger, make it brighter, make it bolder. And feel it as though it's yours. And then exhaling, allowing that intention just to sink deep into your subconscious mind. And I encourage you to recall this intention throughout the class as we practice this morning. And if you have the breath of Ajay in your practice, the victorious breath, I invite you to start with this now. And if you want to practice breath of Ajay, but you're not familiar with it, you can achieve it by creating a slight constriction of the vocal cords at the back of the throat. So when you exhale, it creates a slight hissing sound. And this breath is both energizing and relaxing. It tones the nervous system. And use this breath as an anchor throughout your practice. So drawing the knees into the chest, give yourselves a hug. Place the hands on top of the knees, fingers pointing towards the shins. Inhale and exhale. And on your next inhalation, release the knees away from the body, maintaining contact with the hands on the knees. Exhale, draw the knees in. Inhale, release. Exhale, draw in. Inhale to release. And then you can make circular motions with the knees. Going one way and then the next. Just ease out the lower spine. You can separate the knees, make alternate circles back and forth. And then coming back to stillness. And either rolling onto the right side of the body or placing the hands behind the knees and rolling backwards and forwards 3 or 4 times. Come up to sit and then roll over onto all fours. So bring the knees nice and wide, bring the feet together, and then sit the hips back towards the heels. Walk the hands forwards, and then resting the head onto the mat, coming into child's pose. Press the fingertips into the mat. Press the pads of the hands into the mat, creating a small dome shape in the centre of the palm. Turn your upper arms out and wrap your shoulder blades around your armpits. And take a few breaths here in child's pose. Then slowly returning back onto all fours. Have your knees hip width apart, stacked under the hips. Hands shoulder width apart, stacked under the shoulders, fingers spread nice and wide. Index finger pointing forward as you press the fingertips into the mat. Draw the navel into the spine, feel into the natural curve of the spine. Press the tops of the feet into the mat. And then inhale, lift the pelvis, lift the chest, press the belly into the mat. Exhale, lower down, lower the pelvis, lower the chin to the chest, separate the shoulder blades and round the spine. Inhale, lift up. Keep that neck and spine nice and long. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. And 2 more times. Inhale, lift up. Exhale as you lower down. Inhale, lift up. And then exhaling, returning back to a neutral spine. Take your left leg and place it to the back of the mat. Press the toes into the mat and press the heel towards the mat, stretching out into the calf muscle and the back of the leg. Raise that leg up so it's parallel with the mat. Extend the foot and then press the toes back towards the shin, not the chin. So we're flexing the toes back towards the shin, extending the foot behind us. Welcome back, Lisa. Extend your right arm out in front of you. Try not to lift the hip. Keep drawing that navel into the spine, knitting the abdominal muscles together. And then inhale, and then exhale and draw the elbow and knee together. Inhale, open up. Exhale, draw in. Inhale, open up. Exhale, draw in. Inhale, open up. Exhale, draw in. And one more time. Inhale, open up. Exhale, draw in. And this time, open up back into Sunbird. And then you can stay here if this is enough for you, or you can turn the right palm out, reach behind you, draw the foot towards the hip, taking hold of the foot if you can, and then stretching that foot away from the body and lifting the knee as you lift the chest. Take 3 breaths here. Exhale to release, back into Sunbird. Take 3 breaths in Sunbird. And then release the hands back to the mat. Stretch your right leg behind you, press the toes into the mat and press the heel towards the mat. Stretching into that calf muscle. Keep the neck and spine nice and long as you continue to draw the navel to spine, knitting those abs together. And then raising that leg to horizontal, extending the foot, flexing the toes back towards the shin. Extend your left arm out in front of you, coming into Sunbird. Maintain that core engagement, spine long, neck nice and long as you find that focus point, gazing down towards your mat. Inhale, and on your next exhalation, knee to elbow. Inhale, open up. Exhale, draw in. Inhale, open up. Exhale, draw in. Inhale, open up. Exhale, draw in. And one more time. Inhale, open up. And exhale, draw in. And this time coming back into Sunbird. Staying here if this is enough for you, or turning the left palm out, reaching behind you as you draw that foot towards the hip, taking hold of the foot if you can, and then pressing the foot away from the body while lifting the knee, lifting the chest, grounding into that hand and standing knee, and take 3 breaths here. And then release back into Sunbird and take 3 breaths. And then release the hands and knee back to the mat. Tuck the toes under. Draw the navel into the spine, shoulders relaxed away from the ears, and then lift the knees up off the mat and just hover a few inches above the mat. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the thighs, press the heels back towards the mat, ground into the palms, keep the spine and neck nice and long. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift and hover. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift and hover. Take 3 breaths here. And then raising those hips up, coming into your first downward facing dog. Now press the mat away with the hands. Head comes between the arms as you press the arms up overhead. Turn your biceps out, wrapping your shoulder blades around your armpits and engaging the muscles of the upper back. If you have any shoulder pain or mobility issues here, you can bring the arms wider than the shoulders and turn the palms out, just to give you a little bit more movement. Keep lifting the hips high. You can have a bend in the legs if you need to, as you press the heels towards the mat. Draw the thigh bones into the hip sockets. And take 3 breaths here. Then walking the feet out one at a time, bending one knee at a time, pressing the heel, the other leg into the mat. And then you can twist from side to side, if that feels good for you. And then rolling that weight forwards into a high plank. So keep pressing the heels towards the mat, keep the neck and spine long, creating that one straight line from the crown of the head to the heels. Keep that core engagement, knitting the abs together, drawing the hip crests together and the navel to spine. And then lowering down the knees, the chin of the chest, or coming down chaturanga style like a press up, flaring the elbows out to protect the shoulders, come down to your mat. Hands besides the shoulders, press the tops of the feet into the mat, press the thighs and hips into the mat as you lift up into a gentle cobra. Keep a bend in the arms, shoulders relaxed away from the ears. Remember, we're bending from the middle portion of the spine, so be careful not to jam out or jam into the lower spine. Exhale, lower down. Tuck the toes under, send those hips back, coming into downward facing dog. And then raising your right leg to the ceiling. Inhale, draw that knee to the chest, and exhale, step it through to the top of the mat. Lower the back knee down, extend the foot behind you. Raise up into that lunge. Sinking those hips nice and low. Grounded into the right foot. Grounded into the lower leg. On the opposite side. Slight back bend if it's there for you. And breathe. And then exhale the hands back to the mat. Come onto the back toes, lift the knees, send that leg back into downward facing dog. And resting in down dog, or rolling out the weight forwards, lowering down your way, knees, chin, chest, or chaturanga. Inhaling into that back bend, into cobra. See if you can go a little bit deeper this time. Exhale, lower down. Tuck the toes under, coming back into downward facing dog. And then raising your left leg to the ceiling. Inhale that knee to the chest, and exhale, step it through to the top of the mat. Lower the back knee down, extend the foot behind you. Raise up into that lunge. So keep those shoulders relaxed away from the ears. Keep drawing that navel to spine, core engaged. Squeezing the thighs, grounded into the foot and the opposite leg. Slight back bend if it's there for you. Open up through the chest. And exhaling the hands back to the mat.
Tuck the back toes under, lift the knee, send that leg back into downward facing dog. And again, it's your choice. You can stay here in down dog, or you can take that vinyasa, rolling the weight forwards, and then lowering down your way. And then coming up into that cobra. Nice back bend. Exhale, lower down. Tucking the toes under, coming back into downward facing dog. And then raising that right leg to the ceiling once more. Inhaling that knee to the chest and exhaling, stepping it through. This time you can lower that back knee or you can keep it lifted. Inhale, hands up into that lunge. Can you sink those hips a little lower as you press the heel, the back heel towards the mat, ground into the feet, squeezing those glutes, squeezing the thighs, creating that stable base. Keep drawing that navel into the spine and knitting the abs together as you relax the shoulders from the ears. Inhale, and as you exhale, twist over that front leg. Extend the arms out to the sides. Inhale, return to center. Exhale, twist, opening up to the opposite side. And breathe. Inhale, return to center. Exhale, hands back to the mat. Step that leg back into downward facing dog. And remember, you can stay in downward facing dog if that's for you, or you can roll that weight forwards. Keep it moving. Lowering down, chaturanga style. Inhale into that back bend. Exhale, lower down. Tuck the toes under, coming back into downward facing dog. Then inhaling that left leg to the ceiling. Draw that knee to the chest as you step it through. Lower the back knee or keep it lifted. Then inhale into that lunge. Sink those hips nice and low. Keep pressing that heel towards the mat, the back heel. Ground into both feet. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the thighs tight. Core engaged. Creating that stable base. Inhale, and as you exhale, twist over that front leg. Inhale, return to center. Exhale, twist, opposite side. And breathe. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, hands back to the mat. Step back into downward facing dog. And take 3 breaths here in down dog. And then rolling that weight forwards into plank. So we're going to go for some press ups here. So you can either keep your knees lifted or you can place your knees onto the mat. Whichever one is for you. But we're going to go down for a count of 3 seconds. So our elbows come in line with our shoulders. We're going to hold for 3 and then we're going to lift up. And I catch my breath back. Okay, we're ready. Rolling the weight forwards into plank, lowering down the knees if you want to. And then on the count of 3, we're going to start lowering down. So 3, 2, 1. Hold. 1, 2, 3. And up. And down. 3, 2, 1. And hold. 1, 2, 3. Up. And one more time. Inhale. Down. 3, 2, 1. Hold, 1, 2, 3, up. And return back to downward facing dog. And just take a few breaths here. We'll take a moment in child's pose while I go get a towel. I'm sweating. Coming back into downward facing dog. Walk, step or jump through to the top of the mat. Have your feet hip width apart, toes pointing forwards. Should be able to fit 2 fists in the gap between the feet. Sit the hips back and bend into the knees. And then if you want to lift those hips a little higher, just be mindful not to round out the lower spine. Walk the hands around to the right side of the body, straighten right leg as you bend the left knee. Walk the hands back round to centre and back round to the opposite side, bending right knee and straightening left. And feel that stretch all the way up through the back of the leg, into the hip. Walk the hands back round to centre. And everybody's favourite posture, we're going to sit the hips back, lift the chest, bend the knees, reach the arms forwards, coming into chair pose. So extend the arms out, palms facing in. Draw your arms back into the sockets as you lift the chest, engage that core. Reach the arms up overhead if that's there for you. And then inhale, and as we exhale, fold forwards, sweeping the arms back. Inhale, raise up into chair. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, lift, coming back into chair. Exhale, folding forwards. Inhale, lift. Grounded into the feet, keeping that core engagement. Squeezing those glutes and thighs nice and tight. And exhale, folding forwards. Inhale, lift. And we're going to hold chair for 5 breaths. Let's go for 5 breaths. So maintain that focus, find that drishti point. Breathing through the intensity as we build that internal fire. Couple more breaths. And then exhale, release, back to the mat. Coming into your forward fold. Just take a moment just to reconnect to that breath. Allow the head to hang freely. You can take hold of the elbows. You can twist from side to side. Or if you want to deepen that stretch, you can place the hands underneath the feet. Just be mindful not to round out the lower spine and that you are folding from the hips. Don't try and pull the shoulders, the arms out of the sockets. Release the hands, sit the hips back, bend the knees, lift the chest and scoop the hands up overhead as you come up to stand. Give yourselves a shake. Like a flipping hot yoga session in here this morning. Right. So standing at the top of your mat, feet hip width apart, toes pointing forwards, lifting all 10 toes up off the mat, Lowering the big toe and the little toe, keep the other 3 toes lifted, and grounding into all 4 corners of the feet, big toe mound, little toe mound, outer heel and inner heel, and then lower the other 3 toes. And just notice how your arches lift as you create that stable, firm base. Spiral the thighs out so your knees track over your middle toes, and then placing the hands onto the hips, rocking the hips backwards and forwards as though you're tipping a bowl of water left and right until you find a neutral pelvis. Release the hands from the body, lift up and out of the waist as you draw your hip crests together, navel to spine, knit the abdominal muscles together and allow the rib cage to settle over the pelvis. Engage that core. Relax the shoulders from the ears, create space across the collarbones, open up through the heart. Anchor the shoulder blades against the back of the body. And then lifting up out of the crown of the head. Tucking the chin in slightly. And then fixing the gaze on one point. Let's take a few breaths in mountain pose. And notice a sense of rooting and rising as your body keeps you lifted and gravity draws you back to the mat. We're not looking to collapse and we're not looking to prop ourselves, we're looking to yield to gravity. And just notice a sense of openness and self-esteem and confidence that comes from mountain pose. Then inhale both arms up overhead. Take hold of your right wrist with the left hand. Inhale, lift up and out of the waist. And exhale, bend to the opposite side. Bring the weight into that right foot. And breathe. Inhale, return to center. Swap hands. Inhale, lift up and out of the waist. And exhale, bend to the opposite side. Inhale, back to center. Bring the hands together, or if you have any lower back issues, placing the hands into the small of the back. Inhale, lift up and out of the waist, and exhale, bending backwards, looking back. Keep lifting up and out of the waist. Come into a nice back bend. Be mindful not to jam out the lower spine if you have any lower back issues. Never force your yoga practice. Inhale, back to center. Then inhale, sweep the hands up overhead. Exhale as you fold forwards. Step or jump back into plank. And then lowering down your way, knees, chin, chest up, chaturanga. Hovering momentarily when your shoulders are in line with your elbows. And then releasing back to the mat. Inhale into cobra. Remember that we're bending from the middle portion of the spine, not the lower back. So press the pelvis into the mat as you press the tops of the feet into the mat. Exhale, lower down. Tuck the toes under, send those hips back into downward facing dog. And then raising that right leg to the ceiling. Inhaling that knee to the chest and exhale, step it through. And then walking the hands round to the side of the mat. Turn your heels out, turn the toes in. Have a micro bend in the knees if you have any knee issues. Send those hips back as you send the weight into the heels, and then just find that fulcrum of balance. Walk the hands forward, come onto the fingertips. Allow the head to hang freely. And then placing your right hand into the centre of the mat. Take your left hand, inhale, sweep the hand up, twist, radiate out from the centre, raise that hand up to the sky. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, twist, lift and look up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, twist, lift and look up. Exhale, lower down. And one more time. Inhale, twist, lift and look up. And let's hold it here for 5 breaths. So you can gaze forwards or you can gaze up towards the hand. Find your point of focus. And then exhale, release the hand back to the mat. Place the opposite hand into the centre of the mat. And with your other hand, inhale, lift, twist, reach up, radiating out from the centre of the body. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, twist, lift and look up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, twist, lift and look up. Exhale, lower down. And one more time. Inhale, twist, lift and look up. And this time we're going to hold here for 5 breaths. So keep the shoulders away from the ears. Keep sitting the weight back into the heels. Keep drawing that navel into the spine. Keep squeezing those legs, those thighs nice and tight. Keeping the legs active. Exhale, hands back to the mat. Heel toe the feet in slightly. Turn the heels in, turn the toes out, sit the hips back, bend into the knees as you lift the chest, sweeping the hands up overhead. And exhaling, bending the arms to 90 degrees. Widening the fingertips, sitting the hips back, keeping the chest lifted, coming into goddess pose. So keep grounding into the feet, pressing the knees out to the sides. Keep drawing those hip crests together, navel to spine. Knit the abs together as you zip up from pelvis to sternum. Solid core, solid stable foundation. Shoulders relaxed away from the ears, opening up through the chest. And take 5 breaths here. And inhale, come up to stand, reach the hands up overhead. Exhale, fold forwards, bring the hands back to the mat. Heel toe those legs together until your feet come to shoulder width apart. Turn the heels in, turn the toes out, sit the hips back, come down into Malasana, into squat. So have your elbows on the inside of the knees, bring the hands together at the centre of the chest. Toes pointing out as you ground into the feet. Lift the chest. Squeeze the thighs, squeeze the glutes. And press the elbows into the knees. And then if this is enough for you for today, you can stay here, or you can place your right hand onto the mat. Reach, lift and twist up to the sky with the opposite hand. Take 3 breaths. Exhale, hand back to the mat. We'll go with the opposite side. So reach, lift and twist with that right hand. Finding that focus point. Taking 3 breaths. Exhale the hands back to the mat. Lift the hips. Heel toe the feet together so the hip width apart. And then just reconnect to that breath in a forward fold. Sit the hips back, bend the knees, sweep the hands up overhead. Come up to stand and exhale the hands beside the body. And give yourselves a shake. Catch your breath. So we're going to come down to the mat now. A few more torturous moves to go, but we'll soon be at Shavasana. So inhale, sweep the hands up overhead. Exhale, fold forwards, sit the hips back into a forward fold. Step back into a high plank. Place your right hand into the centre of the mat. Roll that weight over into your side plank. Now you can have the feet stepped in front of one another. You can lower down one knee, or you can have the feet stacked and raise that hand up to the ceiling. Reach forward with that arm if you want to. And if you want an additional challenge, you can bring that top leg, raise it up to the sky. And breathe. And slowly return back to centre, back to high plank. Lower down the knees, chin chest or chaturanga. Inhale into that cobra. Exhale, lower down and coming back into downward facing dog. And then rolling that weight forwards into high plank once more. Place your left hand into the centre of the mat. Rolling that weight over, coming into your side plank. Whichever version suits you. Now you may find it different on one side to the other. So just find a version that works for you. Reach that hand forward if you want to and raise that top leg. And breathe. And then slowly lower down, return back to plank. And then lowering down your way. Inhale into cobra. So I try and catch my breath. Exhale, lower down. Tuck the toes under, come back into downward facing dog. And then bring your right knee to the centre of the mat. Place the knee onto the mat. Bring your right foot to the edge of the mat. As you bring your right hand into the centre of the mat, roll that weight over onto the side. Keep lifting those hips. Raise the hand up to the sky. Come into half circle pose. Reach the hand forwards if you want to. You're lifting it up and out of that waist. And breathe. And then bending into that arm, sweeping the other arm up overhead. Reverse that posture. So hands slides down the back leg, reaching up overhead with the opposite hand. reaching towards the back of the mat. Coming into gate pose. Sending the weight into this foot, grounding into the knee and the foot, lifting up and out of the waist, and breathe. Exhale, windmill the hands back to the mat. Step that leg back into downward facing dog. Rolling that weight forwards and lowering down your way. Inhale into that bow bend into cobra. Exhale, lower down. Tucking the toes under, coming back into downward facing dog. And then placing your left knee in the centre of the mat, left foot to the edge of the mat, left hand in the centre of the mat, and rolling that weight over onto the side, coming into gate pose. Not gate pose, half circle pose. So sending the weight into the outer edge of that foot, grounding into the hand and the knee, lifting up and out of the waist. Reaching that hand overhead if you want to. And breathing here. And then bending into that lower hand, sweeping both hands up overhead, reversing that posture, coming into gate pose. So back hand slides down back leg, while your other hand reaches overhead towards the back of the mat, grounded into the knee and the foot. And keep lifting up and out of that waist. Exhale the hands back to the mat. Stepping back into downward facing dog. Rolling that weight forwards, lowering down your way. And one more cobra for good luck. Exhale, lower down. Tuck the toes under, send those hips back, come onto the knees, and then make your way into a seated position. I think we've got just enough time to do some boat pose. Everybody's favourite. So bend the knees, feet hip width apart. Have a gap of about 2 feet in between the hips and the heels. Lift the chest, place the hands behind the knees, and then lift the feet up off the mat, extending the feet as you flex the toes back towards the shin. Now you can stay here if this is enough for you, or you can release the hands beside the body. And take 5 breaths here in boat pose. Really keep squeezing those thighs. Your legs might shake like mine. Keep drawing that navel to spine, core strong. And then release. Give yourselves a shake. And get ready for round 2. So round 2, you can stay in that position if that's enough for you. So coming back into boat pose, you can stay here, or you can extend those legs out, straighten the knees, and hold here for 5 breaths. And then release. Give your legs a shake. And then round 3, don't worry, we've nearly finished. Soon be time for Shavasana. Placing the hands behind the knees, lifting the feet. Releasing the hands if you want to, straightening the legs if you want to. And then for an additional challenge, placing the hands behind the head. And holding here for 5 breaths. And then slowly lower down the feet, the body with control. come down to lie on your mats. Draw the knees into the chest. Give yourselves a well-deserved hug. It was hard work this morning. And then releasing the feet. And coming into Shavasana. So as always, it's your choice. You can either lay down in Shavasana, or if you've got a cushion, you can sit in meditation. So wherever you are, just find a comfortable position, comfortable resting posture. And then just allow the breath to settle. Allowing the body to settle. Allowing your breath to return to its natural rhythm. As your body begins to relax. And then recalling that intention that you set at the beginning of the class. Bringing that intention into your mind's eye. Feeling that intention. Making it bigger, making it brighter, making it bolder. And then in your next exhalation, releasing that intention back deep into your subconscious mind. And then just finding the sense of calm, stillness, and clarity in body and mind. Just allowing the yoga to do its work. Giving everything over to your yoga practice. And then bring your awareness to your breathing. Inhaling, sending that breath deep into the diaphragm, into the belly, feeling the belly rise and the ribcage expand. Sending that breath into the front, the sides and the back of the body, and to wherever needs it most. And as you exhale, fully releasing that breath, and just allowing yourself just to melt into the mat. And then just scanning the body for any areas of tension. Breathing into those areas of the body, and as you exhale, release. And then bring your awareness to your legs. Squeezing the feet, and then releasing the feet and letting go. Squeezing the calf muscles. Allowing the calf muscles to relax and letting go.
Bring your awareness to your thighs, to your hips, to your buttocks, squeezing your thighs and buttocks and hips, releasing and letting go. And bring your awareness to your torso, to your ribcage, and to your chest. Squeezing your torso and upper body tight, and let go. And bring your attention to your arms, to your shoulders, to your collarbones, all the way down to your fingertips. Making fists with the hands, squeezing the arms and shoulders tight, releasing and letting go. And then bring your awareness to your whole body. Squeeze your whole body, making fists with your hands, squeezing as tight as you possibly can. Taking one long deep inhalation, pausing for a moment at the top, and then opening your mouth, exhaling, releasing and letting everything go. And then travelling around your face, to your jaw, your cheeks, the space around your eyes, your forehead, all the way to the crown of the head. And then resting your awareness in the space behind the eyes, in your third eye centre. Your bud-eye mind, your intellect. Allowing the awareness just to rest. And then very slowly bring your awareness back into the body and back into the room. Noticing where you are in the room, and the objects around you. Wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes, and turning the head from left to right. Then if you want to, you can reach the arms up overhead, coming into a nice full body stretch. And then if you're laid down in Shavasana, rolling onto the right side of the body, and then slowly making your way back up to a cross-legged seated position. And then bring the hands to the centre of the chest, sitting nice and tall, lifting the chest and bowing the chin down, just to seal in that practice. And as a sign of gratitude to yourselves for coming onto your yoga mat this morning and for the energy that we've shared in this virtual space. It's been an honour to guide you through your practice as always. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and I'll see you at the next class. Namaha.